Hello viewers, Super GT here at Dragon Trail, ready to send some Group 4 cars to the Shadow Realm. P6, Alex Arbon. Just kidding, it's Metagear, welcome back to the channel. We have our Manufacturer Cup Round 2 race here at Dragon Trail Seaside. I am starting from 15th on the grid, and we are in the Volkswagen Scirocco, as I chose Volkswagen for my manufacturer this season. And you can see we already have a good start after a bit of a poor qualifying, and we're going to get up into 14th place right at the beginning, passing the Porsche. Good top speed from the Scirocco here at Dragon Trail, but of course we are in a no-stop strategy tie-saving race, so we are going to struggle because we're in the FF car. So as we start lap 1, we are up 1 position and chasing the Toyota up ahead of us in P13. So Dragon Trail is one of those tracks where I quite enjoy the track, but I don't have the best pace here. So this was something I was really working on this week. Did a lot of practice, and even though I said I didn't do too great in qualifying, only 15th on the grid, as you can see, but I do feel that I actually did have a pretty good lap. It's just I'm in a very quick lobby. I think this is split 2 lobby, and we're very late on the brakes there, almost into the back of the Toyota as we come around up towards the Chicane of Death, and we're going to have to keep account of just how many people this chicane claims throughout the race. So as we go through the first time, you see the Toyota runs wide, hits the wall there. We're not going to count that as a victim because he does survive, but we are going to get the run on him now and try and make a move into the final hairpin. But you can see that the Japanese driver there in the red Mercedes actually goes for a move, but he goes a little bit deeper, and we're able to make the cutback and come up alongside him as we round out the first lap. We're going to go side by side down towards the line, and we have managed to outdrag him, so we finished the first lap there in 13th place, having gained already 2 positions. The fight isn't over yet. We're going to have to go defensive for this first corner here to make sure that we can hold on to the position. The Mercedes, I can see, is very eager to get past us, and we do manage to hold it there, but you can see that there's already quite a gap forming between ourselves and the next group up ahead. So we're going to have to try and get this fighting sorted out so that we can actually make some progress and move ahead in the race. One of the worst things you can do is just battle too much in these early laps and really lose touch to any groups ahead. The slipstream here is quite important, as it is at most races in GT Sport. So my mission on this lap was to just try and pull out a little bit of a gap to give us, some breathing space that we're not going to have to defend into every single corner and cost us so much time. So as we head down towards this hairpin before coming through the final sector of the lap, you can see we haven't made any real progress in pulling away from the Mercedes, and we're going to go once again through the Chicane of Death, see if we can survive, and we come through here. We're going to ride on board with the Mercedes. You can see how much the Scirocco bounces over the curbs, and I don't get a very good run through there, and so he is up in the slipstream, and once more he's going to have the inside line for this final hairpin. And I think once more I decide to take a deeper line, a wider line, and have the cutback, so we have a better exit speed, and we're going to get into the slipstream and once again make our way back up into 13th place before the lap ends. So that gives me a little bit of confidence that later in the race, if we do have any kind of drag to the line, that I might be able to reclaim any positions. Of course, that's if we manage to hold on to the tires. So you can see here that once again we had to go a little bit defensive into that first corner, and I'm actually going to, in a second, just put my hazards on and tell this guy, like, what are you doing? Do you want to fight this race for 13th place, or do you want to try and make some progress and get up into the lead? So we flash our hazards on right here, and I just hope that he gets the message. So as we ride on board with the Japanese driver through the S's, now we will come back up to us, and we just have to hope that he kind of understands that I want to work together and try and catch this group up ahead who are already probably 2 or 3 seconds ahead of us. So with all this fighting, we've really lost a lot of time, and there we go. You see that the Japanese driver there in the Mercedes, he decides to give us a little bit of a push. It looks like we're now going to work together to try and catch up. And we set a good second sector there. We're up half a second already on our fastest time. And that's really the thing here about as we come up to, what is this? It's a Mazda, I think, who is our first victim. So there we go, kill count 1 for the Chicane of Death. But as I was saying, these early laps in the Sirocco are really the laps you want to be getting the most out of the car, because as we get later into the race, as you'll see, we're going to start to struggle with the tires. So as we end at the 3rd lap, we come across the line at 47.2, so it's a fairly good pace. We can do high 46s here if we're in the slipstream, but anyway, we're going to jump up ahead now onto the 4th lap and see what progress we've made. So you can see we're still running here in 4th place, but we are about to pick up his position as, there we go. Let's check out the replay as the WRX hits the inside of the barrier there, and we have our second victim to the Chicane of Death. So, riding back on board, we're up to 11th place at the end of the 4th lap. We have managed to pull out a little bit of a gap to the Mercedes driver behind, so we have some breathing room. We still have a lot of work to do. The 2 drivers up ahead are probably 3 seconds down the road, so we're going to skip now to the end of the 6th lap, and you can see that the pack behind me has actually caught up quite a bit, and so I have once again the Mercedes right on my tail, and he's actually going to give us a little bit of a bump draft here just to help us along, which is really cooperative and nice of him. So that we have stopped fighting and are now working together to try and catch up to the 2 drivers ahead. So at this stage of the race, this is when the tire wear can really start to come into play. So if we take a look at my tires down in the left-hand corner and then compare them to iRacer's in 10th, who's also in the Sirocco, you see that we've managed to keep our tires in better condition, and we've also used up more fuel. That's because I decided not to use 6th gear in this race. I determined in practice that we could rev the car out all the way up to 5th, and unless you're in the slipstream, you're not going to hit the limiter. So we're going to use that little bit of extra fuel, which is going to help us save tires. We also have one less upshift, so that once again also helps us save tires. We learned that at Laguna Seca a few weeks ago in the Daily Race C, and you can see that the Mercedes once again just gives us a little bit of a push there, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too much for me, and it caused me to run wide. It was nothing dirty, simply I overshot the corner, and he manages to get the undercut on me as we head up towards the chicane, and I decide that he's probably struggled enough sitting behind behind me and slowing himself down, so I decided to let him go, and we're now going to try and use his slipstream to catch up to 10th place, because at this stage of the race I can see that iRacer ahead, he's in the Volkswagen, and so I know that his tires are going to start to go off, and I'm confident in my ability to save tires. So I thought, yeah, at this point it's much better for me to now sit behind the Mercedes, and here we're going to give him the bump draft on this occasion just to pay back that favor. We just take a look up the inside just so that we can see our braking area a little bit better, not to make a move on him and get the car slowed down. We don't want to fight too much. So here we are, we're going to skip ahead to the end of the 8th lap now, and we've just about lost the slipstream, so we need a really good final corner here just to get back in it, and just have managed to do it. We have the other Japanese driver behind us, so we want to stay in the slipstream of the Mercedes in order to not have to defend to that driver behind. I think he's in a Toyota, I can't quite see at this point. So we're on lap 9. You can see on the right hand side that we're still in the mid 47s, so our pace has been nice and solid. the Volkswagen logo of iRacers just up there ahead is getting larger and larger, so I can see that we are gaining time, and as soon as that Mercedes catches up to them, I'm very confident that they are going to fight, and that will allow us to get into the battle as we come around this hairpin, and for some unknown reason, the Toyota there just gets a little bit too wide and actually loses it on the exit of the corner. So rip to that Japanese driver, and we go through the S's here, and yeah, this stage, you know, I'm just thinking, how far up can we get? But unfortunately, we don't have any moment to rest, because as you see here, in 13th place, all of a sudden we have a new challenger in the green Huracan, and this guy is going to give me a world of trouble. Now, I know how all those drivers feel, those F1 drivers who have to defend an entire race, you know, 70 laps. I can think back to some races like Spain in 2005, I think it was, where Alonso defended against a faster Schumacher that whole race. It can be so exhausting because you just know that you can't make a single mistake. So we've got two battles going on here. We've got 10th and 11th between iRacer and the Japanese driver in the red Mercedes, and we've got the battle for 12th and 13th between myself and Ace in the green Huracan. So we're going to take a look and see if the Mercedes can get a run up the inside here as we come down to this opening chicane of the lap. We're on lap 10. No, he tucks back in, and we jump back to me. We see that also the Huracan has jumped tagging. So a lot of clean driving in this race, actually. I have to say, the penalty system was dropped a few weeks ago from Gran Turismo. I mean, the penalty system still exists, but it's now much more lenient, and you would have thought the drivers would be going for sends all over the place, but actually what has happened is we've just gotten very clean racing, and we can now, you know, we can have a little bit of you know, close, tight, rubbing his racing style, you know, fights without it resulting in these stupid penalties that just destroy the races. So as we go through the S's here, we're going to get a poor run out of this final corner, run a little bit wide, and that puts the Huracan right up behind us, and he's actually going to have the outside line, so we're on the inside, we're having to defend, and the red Mercedes, he's managed to get past iRacer, and we run a little bit deep, and the Huracan is actually going to try and undercut us here, and he gets up beside us, and I'm thinking, what is he doing? We can't go side by side through the chicane of death, but he does. He tries to challenge us there, and we just lose so much time. We have to go so slow through there. We're doing 185 kilometers per hour. Usually you're up, you know, 195, 200 kilometers per hour, or even faster if you get it perfect. So I just once again put on the hazards, and just to say, what are you doing, man? You know, do you want to battle for 12th place, or do you want to get up and you know, fight for 10th place? We have to work together. So as we see, as we come around the end of this 10th lap, he is going to be right up behind me, and is he going to give us a little bump draft, or is he going to fight us? And once again, I put on my hazards to see if he will try and work together with us, but it seems like he just really wants this position. And you know, we have a little bit of contact there, and I'm going to have to go up the inside here, defend the inside line, get the car slowed down. I'm really slow on the apex. He can't make a run at me because I'm so slow on that apex. I know how to drive these FF cars defensively. I've had wins before in the daily races where I've had to drive so defensively and defend against quicker drivers at the end of the race, so I know what I'm doing. And we can see that iRacer, he is struggling a lot, so we're going to chase him here. It looks like we managed to pull out a little bit of a cushion back to Ace in the Huracan, so let's see how I can make progress up to iRacer as we go once again through these S's. This time I'm a little bit more cautious, get the line right. We don't run wide, but once again, the Huracan behind us, he just gets such a better run through that. The you know, the mid-engines cars, they're just going to be much better on the tire wear, so we're going to go a little bit defensive, but he backs out of the move, but he is once again going to get the car back. He gets the better traction, and he's once again up the inside, but this time he actually thinks better of it, and he's going to drop back so that we can go through the chicane of death at full speed, and we can see that there's a yellow flag, so we know what that means. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, we have our next victim, so kill count number 3. the Chicane of Death has claimed the Toyota, and that guy was actually running second place in the race, so you see how much time you lose. And iRacer, he is very, very slow through this final corner. His tires are absolutely shot, and we are now right in his slipstream. We gained so much time. We're going to have a side-by-side battle as we enter the final lap of the race. It's for 10th position. It's Sirocco versus Sirocco, and all I have to do is hit the brakes a little bit later. He does try to go around the outside. We make a little bit of contact, but we take the position, and the Huracan actually gets through as well. So unfortunately, I really wanted iRacer to stay ahead so that we'd have that buffer behind us, but the Huracan has managed to get through as well. And so as we come through to this chicane, iRacer is going to just have the mother of all sends, and he barges his way back through past the Huracan. So at that point I kind of knew, well, if we can just, not make any mistakes in this final half of the lap, we're going to finish in 10th position in, I don't think this is top split. I think this is second split, but a second split lobby at this level of competition against, the Australians and the Japanese and the New Zealand drivers. I am just super proud of this result if we can bring it home from 15th on the grid. And you see behind us, all three of them are battling. We get the car slowed down just enough, and all we have to do is survive the Chicane of Death one more time. You can see that the red Mercedes, he is gone. He is taken off. Can we get through here without crashing? We go for the left, we go for the right, swing it through, and look at that, we've managed to do it. So we just have one final corner now to get through, and we're going to claim 10th position. And I feel like I haven't had a moment to breathe during this commentary. It's just been a very, very exciting race. And so we come around the final corner, and it looks like iRacer is going to lose that position to Ace on the run down to the line, but we managed to hold on to 10th place and take the points. So, wow, what a great race. Super happy with that result. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and if you liked the video, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you